right. All right. We're back again here today. Talking about, I'm Michael. He's Abdul. It's
Yeah,
Saturday, April 20 something.
25.
5. Okay, 25.
This is
All right.
this is quarantine kind of isolation, right? People have started forgetting dates, like what day it
Yes.
is,
Yes.
what time it is, what's the date.
What month it is, right?
Yeah,
Like the first couple of weeks felt to go really slow, but now it seems like it's really picking up, to be honest.
yeah,
That's what my wife and I were talking about. But all right, today we're going to talk about what does the SaaS landscape look post-COVID, right? We got a number of topics we're going to cover. What people should rethink. Should people, rethink their solution, what they're spending money on. Businesses, I think, and so does Abdul, businesses that solve problems will thrive. And we're going to talk a
yep.
little bit about that. And then SaaS solutions that focus on very small audiences or solve a very specific problem can be in trouble if that industry gets hit. And I think we've seen that as some agency owners as well that have focused strictly on, let's say, the dental niche, right? They've lost 60% of their business. Clients are pausing. The dentist offices are not open. My teeth need to get cleaned. I know that, but we can't get in there right now. But it's that's what happens in this space. And it was interesting. I was talking to this basketball hoop manufacturer, and they said they're going crazy right now, right? Because all these kids are staying home. They want basketball hoops in their house. So now it's just like, what industry are you in, and what side of the COVID, are you on, really, right? So, but I think we are at a point where we're moving a little bit past we're getting to the point where things are starting to reopen. Does that mean they'll close again? I don't know, right? But we're getting past things that are now slowly starting to hear and open in Denver. We're slowly opening some more situations. I know Abdul can now start going to the office as a essential business in Karachi. So it's kind of, what does everything look like? So let's just kind of start where people would rethink solutions they spend money on. That's one of the topics we kind of want to talk about. What do you want to talk about kind of on that spot, in
Yeah.
that space?
No, I think you're right in saying, Michael, that I think I've also started to feel like people have kind of that scare phase that was there in the initial few weeks of like everyone being scared
Yeah.
of what will happen. I think
Yep.
that has passed, and I definitely think that Corona will be with us for the next couple of years until like kind of everyone is
Mm-hmm.
vaccinated. But I think it has now started becoming part of life, and say, okay, this is there. We have to be socially kind of have to distance ourselves. We have to be smart like
Mm-hmm.
ourselves kind of a thing, right? We have to like kind of maintain distance, stuff like that. And like, yep, so I would say like kind of having those things there. But thinking about the SaaS landscape, right? And I've started like I've been doing a lot of reading on that, reading a lot of comments that have been coming in on groups, Facebook groups and all that. I do think that, and also seeing like my own kind of a thing, even though like personally like we are and everything's fine, but people have started thinking about software solutions like, okay, where's my credit card bill? Where am I spending money on? Like, which subscriptions do I
Yep.
have? Like, kind of that. Even if they're not hit, people have started to think about it, because definitely
They
like
reevaluate their budget during times like this. Yep.
like us, like 15 blocks that we have as an agency now. The good thing is we are very spread out in our clients, but like you mentioned, like some of the agencies which are like very niche down, which
Mm-hmm.
were focusing in good times, that was good, right? That was a good
Yeah.
strategy. But now when times are not that good, so it might, for some, it's not proving to be the best long-term kind of a play, right? But now those agencies, definitely they were also using SaaS products somewhere, in some way, right? Some
Yep.
solutions. So definitely
Yep.
they'll be rethinking that. So I think that's the rethink process has already started. People have started feeling it, and just to like I think there are a few payment providers that have also added COVID-19 as their cancellation or refund reason. That when you I think True Checkout has done that, and a few others have as well. That when you go to, okay, I want to refund this client, they always COVID-19 is a separate reason
Mm.
now, because that has become a big
Yeah.
reason of people asking for cancellations or refunds.
Yep.
And that's where I've seen a lot of SaaS companies have come up with good cancellation processes as well. Because when you go to cancel the service, ask, are you canceling because of COVID? Oh, you are. Okay, then they say, okay, don't cancel. Either we'll pause your subscription, or
Yep.
tell us if you're an essential service and we'll give it to you for free. Kind of having that kind of a thing as well. Just keeping the customers in the door, kind of a thing. I think
Well, and
that,
I think they're trying to do the right thing too, right? They're
yes,
trying to support these
yeah,
these frontline workers that are keeping the lights on
yes,
wherever that is, right? Like, and we've done a little bit of this where, especially smaller businesses that may or may not be able to afford it, we've said we'd work for free for a month to keep them, hopefully keep their because just like digital marketing, you can't turn it on and off. Well, you can with paid ads, but with SEO, it's tough to do that. You want to keep the momentum going once you have it. So, I think, just having that type of heart is cool to see people do that. And, it is very widespread, obviously.
So I think that is happening. So people are rethinking where they're spending money on. So I think that just brings us to the next kind of slides into that of like, are you kind of solving I like to call it a hair on fire problem, right? Like if you are doing that, then it's fine, right? Because if you are solving a problem that is really, really big and it's like people want it solved. So that's why it's always like you see a lot of startups coming up. Now it has gotten a little better, but if you look at like 3, 4 years ago, there were startups coming up, SaaS solutions coming up for all the weird reasons, right? Like who would use that kind of a service? Or what is even the kind of the meaning of this kind of a thing, right? So if you are kind of solving a problem, that problem is big enough that you have people who want to pay you for that, and they're not just paying you because there are certain solutions that are not air on fire kind of solutions, right? Where they're just making your job a little easier. But if you don't have it, you can survive without it, right? Like there was this survey that I think I've mentioned this product in a video before, Superhuman, that and Michael kind of still makes fun of me for using that and paying $30 a month for that. But they sent out a survey a week ago, right? And they asked me like, oh, if Superhuman would close, like how disappointed would you be? Kind of a thing. So like very disappointed, usually stuff like that. I said somewhat disappointed, right? But then they asked me like why? I said, okay, it's solving a problem. It's like making me go through my email much faster. I like the keyboard shortcuts, but it's not like life and death for me. Like I won't mind going back to Gmail if the product is not there. That is a serious problem because that means that would be the first product to go out when I start cutting it off, right? So, so that's what I mean. Like if it's a hair on fire problem, now hair on fire for us, as an example, can be Integromat, which is a service we use that kind of pretty much runs the whole kind of the automation
keeps all the glue together, right? That and Zapier, right?
Yes. So if they close up, that's a big problem for us. Then we have a really big problem because all our automation free. So they are solving a really good problem. That means we won't be canceling them, or no one would be canceling them anytime soon, unless they are like just closing down or something. So I think that's the thing that people have to decide, especially SaaS providers have to decide. All providers we are talking to have to decide that are they solving a big enough problem? If they're not, I think it is. I won't say it's a. I think it's for them. It's more of like an opportunity as well because they have gotten this kind of a tough time to start. Because if you can figure out a strategy for this crisis, and you can kind of get past this, I think these companies will even grow stronger because not everyone.
And I think, I think that's a great point. I think what's been interesting is to watch what's happening at our agency and then watch what's happening with the WP Help, right? We have a digital marketing agency. We've seen a reduction in between 10 and 20% probably of clients pausing or canceling because of those reasons, like the non-essential businesses not working, right? But if you're solving a problem that people want, no matter what, and my father-in-law asked me this, he's like, is this something people are going to want whether the COVID's around or not? And what we're seeing is, yes, that's what we've seen. We've landed because the offer is so strong, right? Like getting these types of website speeds and things like that. And I think that's kind of to your point, right? Will you pay for something like Integromat or Zapier in times of crisis? Yes, I will, because it runs my business. Will I pay for Superhuman or some additional chat program that costs me more or whatever that, oh, you know what? I can just manage my own chat
without it,
right
now. You can live without it. That's a kind of a thing, right? It won't be an ideal situation for you, but you can live without it. You can find a free solution or you can find a cheaper solution, whatever, and you can live without it.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the first things I did in my agency was I looked through all my expenses and I was like, okay, what do I need? What do I not need, right? And you cut all those excess tools. I kind of did the exact opposite of what everyone was saying to do. I went and bought more tools, right? We went and invested in a better support system, right? And then we also doubled down on Monday a little bit, got some more users there as well. So, spending money in places that I can't live without, right? Things that I I need. I can't live without, right? I guess that's kind of
The hair on
a
fire
little
problems, right? Like
extreme.
hair on fire
Yeah.
problems, that these are problems you really want
Yes.
solved, really want them solved. Otherwise,
Yes.
you know that there will be issues in running the business.
And yeah, and that's kind of your next point is businesses that will solve problems
Yep.
will thrive, right? And that's what you've talked about. And I think I saw something that said like in 2008 when the economy crashed, some of the best companies that we talk
Yes.
about now, Slack, Airbnb, some of those companies
Uber
like
as well. I
that,
think
are,
Uber kind of
yeah,
grew at that time as well
yeah,
because
all came out of it, right?
yep.
Because of all of this. So
So,
what are the true needs and stuff like
and if you
that?
think
So
about it, it makes sense as well because Airbnb came out because people want session. You want to rent out your space. You want to make like some money out of your extra bedroom or an extra apartment that you
yeah,
have. And from a visitor, like a user's point of view, you don't want to pay a hotel premium. You want to stay somewhere cheaper
yep,
comparatively. And then Slack, because suddenly work from home started becoming more remote working. People are looking for cheaper solutions in international markets, getting people talent in a more cost effective way. But I think that's the thing, right? I think if you can figure out this environment, if you can figure out how to navigate this environment, that is a testament of your business's viability as well.
yep,
So if you get through this, you have a very brighter future ahead of you because once this is over, if people
yep.
want to pay you in this time, like if they're taking out their credit cards at this time, they will they will keep taking them out once this is over. And eventually,
Correct.
there is a time that this will get over. We don't know when, but this will.
Or it'll become our new norm,
Yes.
and some business has to come back to some level of normalcy. It's going to be the new norm that everyone
Yep.
talks about, right? But it's going to be this level that is not now. The economy's got to pick up. People got to go back to work. We got to have jobs. So, we're going to buy things to do whatever, to start businesses or whatever it might be. So, last thing I think is, SaaS problems or SaaS solutions that focus on very small audiences or solve a very specific problem can be in trouble if the industry gets hit.
I
And I
think
think that's what kind of
yeah,
what we saw, right? Go ahead.
niche. I think that's again. I think
Niche.
that's
Yeah,
yeah
exactly.
the problem that you talked about, which comes to niche agencies. I think that's the because there was a mindset of people and still is in SaaS that oh you have to build a solution for a very specific audience that solves a very specific problem and you can thrive in that persona, right? And it was good advice for but because no one was kind of not even the biggest of the most thought out businesses had like a virus like corona in their planning, right? Like everyone used to say, oh, there will be wars, there will be economic upturns, downturns, stuff like that. No
Yeah.
one had a global
Nope.
pandemic like this in their plans, right? So that advice was good. That if you can focus on a very specific audience and have a very specific problem that you solve very well, you have a good business in your hands. But now, if you are serving, like if you have a SaaS business that focuses just on, like you said, dentists that are not open, you that industry has got, or aviation or hospitality, these industries have
Yep.
got hit very bad and they might take years to recover, like from whatever they have
Yep.
gotten into, right? So now, yesterday I was going through one of these Facebook groups, and this guy has a SaaS solution for farmers. The states it has for farmers, harvest something. I don't remember. I think harvest profit or something. It helps farmers kind of manage their harvest, make sure get all the pricing and all the calculations, P&L stuff like that for farmers. And they are doing, I think, they said like before COVID, they were doing 800K a month, a year. Their ARR was 800K a year, and they were growing at like 10 to 15% every year at this point. They just had like 6 employees, so really good profitable business, like really low churn, right? He said like after COVID, like they've got to 1 million ARR in like 2 months. Like they've grown like 40%, 30%, right? It's just talking about the people were talking about this like how these things happen, right? Like if you have a because now with everyone focusing back on food security stuff like that, that okay, we want to kind of start focusing on kind of food security. Farmers are being promoted everywhere in the world. Like agriculture is being kind of even in Pakistan, like agriculture has been given the exemption. If you are serving the agriculture industry, or you don't have any time
Well, and it also
restrictions.
sounds like it helps them be a little more profitable,
Yes.
right? So in a time that you have to look for where margins can be better, right? And selling obviously your harvest at the right time, at the right price, whatever it may be, is might pay for the software itself, right? And those are the types of tools that you're talking about that will take us to the next level.
HubStaff. I think we talked about
where
HubStaff as well in the some of a previous
Yep.
video or something, where I was looking at HubStaff on their bare metrics chart because they have an open chart, and they were at $550,000 a month, around $500,000 a month on revenue in February, and now they're at like 650, 680. Otherwise, they used to grow like 10, 20 grand a month. This in the past 2 months, they've grown like 150 grand, 120 grand because
Wow.
now everyone wants to do remote work. So companies are looking for solutions on how they can manage remote workers, right? So
Yep.
that's the if you are focusing on a big enough problem, then I think you might see some problems. You might have some tough times, but people will get through it. But if you're focusing on a very small problem, and if unlucky for you, you're focusing on a problem with an industry that got hit, then I think it is the scenario after post, like even in just COVID, is very.
Yeah. No, I think all of this is great. And I think some companies will thrive and some companies will die, right? And that is this cycle that we live in, this economic
Always
world.
happens,
It's
right?
no
Now I
different.
think it's just with COVID, it's in the limelight, but this is a cycle that is always
Happens.
happening.
Like, look at Blockbuster. Blockbuster. I don't know if you guys have Blockbusters or movie stores, right? In Karachi, they don't exist anymore because now we are all streaming movies, right?
Yeah, we don't have
I mean,
Blockbuster here, but I remember when I used to live in Toronto, a Blockbuster store like near my house. So I remember that Blockbuster and how now they
doesn't
thought
need it. You don't need it.
I remember reading somewhere when they were talking about streaming, and they're like, who will stream movies online? Like their executives thought like, oh, people will want to watch videos like on CDs and all that, on DVDs. Who will want to watch on a computer? It was so wrong.
Whoops, read that one wrong.
So
yeah, there's obviously, and that's what I'm saying, like industries change or times change, technology changes, which causes disruption, right? But then things like this happen in our world as well. I mean, as sad as it is, sometimes war causes disruption in things that we have. I mean, you go back a long, long time ago, and the revolution that happened in America and all that stuff during some of the world wars and stuff like that. So it's just times, whether it be might change things, or like we said, the pandemic is gonna, when you have a service that isn't a necessity, like it'll be interesting to see how gyms come back from all of this, right? Obviously they're going to come back, but obviously we can all live without them, right? We're all still existing. I go for runs outside still. If it was the winter, it'd probably be a different story. But somebody like the Peloton, that they're probably doing great in business because people are doing a lot more at home now and stuff like that. But anyways,
gyms
at
would
a
be an
high
interesting one, because
yeah.
even after COVID, I think with how, especially now, like there have been cases like pandemics like that before as well. Just like 100 years ago, the Spanish flu killed around 50 to 100 million people. Problem is we didn't have mass media then, right? Now we have mass media.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's so kind of, everyone is so tuned into it that I imagine like even after all of this ends, many people won't be comfortable being in so much close proximity to other people in environments like gym. So that's, I think businesses like these really need to start thinking on like this their next kind of a pivot.
I'll ask you this though. When's the last time you've been to the gym? I'm only teasing him because he always talks about trying to go get a gym membership, and then he gets it and then he never goes.
I have gotten so many gym memberships, and I've wasted so many gym memberships.
So anyways, that's kind of the wrap on, what does SaaS landscape look like post-COVID. I think we kind of hammered that out. Hopefully, kind of going forward, we're not going to talk a lot about COVID, right? It's kind of something that I want to move past. I think everybody wants to move past, but I think as we move past it, we got to talk about moving past it. So, going forward, I think it's more like what the world looks like and things like that. So, once again, I'm Michael. He's Abdul, and we're trying to figure out how to run the SaaS business. As you can tell behind him, he's got all his computers ready for all the people we got started. So, have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.